Hi everyone, welcome to Natural Wonders. Today I've got a bit of something different for you all to do. It's the second instalment to the Painting Canvas Frames DVD, and this is going to be a download. I'm just going to teach you basically how to make these beautiful borders for the frames. So let's get started with this one. So what I've actually done first of all is I've used a ruler and I've measured 3.5 inch in. And then what I've done is I've measured it every 4 centimetres or something. I've marked it all the way up the canvas, and then I've just put some masking tape on that inside edge, on that inside line. It's this edge here that I'm concerned about, that I'm wanting to keep very tight so no paint gets underneath it or anything. We just want that really tight in there. And what I've actually got here is I've got a mixture of tile grout and builders PVA. So it's a mixture basically, and I don't know if you can see that, but it's quite a toothpastey consistency basically, and that's what we use to do these canvas frames. It's a clever way of doing it. So what I do is I've just put a load of masking tape on there, and you can just come down with a load of that mixture. You need to make sure that you actually come over the tape, and you also need to make sure that you have enough. See, like there, it's got to be at least a couple of millimetres thick. So you will use a lot of this, but it's not very expensive. You get a lot of frames out of one tub of tile grout. It does you really proud. So you come right over the tape like so, all the way to the edge, and then on the edge you can get your paint there and just pull that, so you've got an even layer of that mixture all over there. I don't like it too thick. This is the first layer, the first coat that we're doing now. Once we've done this first coat, it's a matter of letting it dry. Pick it up. I'm using a palette knife to do this because it's the easiest way, but you could use a scraper, a wall scraper or something like that if you wanted. I like to get it quite flat, so that, see like there, that it's quite flat. And first of all, I'm really just concentrating on getting enough over the tape edge, because that's what defines the size of our canvas basically. And put something there as well. This dries very fast once it's on the canvas, because the canvas is porous, and this stuff dries when it's in air anyway, just really well. So you see that, I'm getting a good thick coat. You can even go back in sometimes if you get a hole anywhere, and make sure you go right over that. That edge is the most important thing. There. You're just building it up basically, layer by layer. Keep getting it on your knife, and then you can just work that in. We're going to come on and do the edges as well, and you have to do this on a box frame really. You can do it on a normal canvas, but it so works better when you do it on a box canvas, because obviously it looks like a proper frame then. Otherwise it's like one of those cheap thin frames. You still do nice paintings with them though, if you're careful and you do the border correctly. It can look good. But if you can, get yourself a box canvas, because that's the deluxe model. So I'm just flattening that down basically now, so that it's as flat as possible. I don't want it raised at this point. It will be very raised at the end. But this is the layering process you have to go through to achieve the effect which I get. Just up in there, the same thing. Get a load of it, you know, mix it. As long as it goes over that top edge of the tape, it will work fine. See, down here it's starting to dry on me already, which is good. That's what we want. Just don't leave many holes in this layer. Keep it quite flat. When I say holes, I'll explain to you what I mean. See the holes in that? I don't want to leave them yet, but there's another process to this where we do leave them holes and the gaps. There. So I've just used just under a quarter of a tub that I've mixed up myself of tile grout so far for this. So there we go. You just really let that go. All we need to do then is simply get this tape, pull the tape, and it'll leave an impression. Right, I'm just giving you a close-up look. You can see on the edge there, I've not overdone it and put too much on, because we need to put some tape going a long ways. So now I just need to let that dry. Done it all the way down to the bottom. And the same thing at the bottom. Don't take it right to the very edge. Just stop it about 2 inches in, and that'll be perfect for you all. Right, so I'm just gonna cut some masking tape, and I've already marked out the lines. But this is dried now. So what I want to do is I want to stick it to the lines I've made. The top's always hardest to see. Something about like that. And I'm not too worried about bringing it really far on here, because I can just stick that on the end, you see, like that. The thing is, this edge in here, all the way along, make sure that that edge is stuck properly and stuck well. Because that's dried now, I don't care about anything past that point. I'm not going to be going past that point. I'm staying in there. Just make sure that it's very well stuck. And then we can go back to us knife. Pick up some more of this stuff. Just apply it up here now. So for me, because of gravity, your best to do is flat on the floor, really. A little lump in it there. So you can just pull up like so. I advise you to just get a load on there first. All along that edge. And then what you can do is you can just come back and make sure that it goes, starts off over that tape. Just remember, the shape that we're getting will in the end will be our frame. So it needs to have a couple of millimetres of depth to this. It really needs that. I know that my friend Bill Stenson were asking especially for this, so I hope you enjoy, Bill. Always coming up with great ideas. There were another friend called Patrick who got me to do Crater Lake. I'm really glad he did, because I properly enjoyed doing that Crater Lake demonstration. It was brilliant. Just allowed me to show you what's possible as well with the wooden canvas frames, which was my first frame DVD. Just up in there. Now, as well, I'm not worrying about the top yet. I'll do that in a short while. I'm going to get a load more on there to speed the process up a bit for me. There. I can do it this way. I'm just speeding it up. And then you can use the back of the knife then. Just pull upwards. Just like everywhere, if I'm going on the sides, I pull to the side. If I'm going up, I pull straight up. If I'm at the bottom, I'll be pulling down. Never pull towards the tape though, because you'll have a tendency of pushing the medium that we're using underneath the tape, and we try to avoid that. But remember, this is just the first layer. I'll be coming back and putting another layer on this. Now in the corners, put some in there. Whatever you have left, you can just use on this top edge, just where you missed before. Remember, you don't want it too thick, just enough. So if you get too much excess, you can wipe it away and then go back and just gently flatten that out, nice and softly. Just in there. Same up in there. Actually come across the top sometimes. We're going to do all the edges as well. When this is done, I'm going to do a demonstration on this painting so that you guys can see exactly how good they are. Use it as a promotional tool and hopefully get plenty of people interested. What I need. I had lots of interest in the other canvas frame one, so thank you everybody who gave me their support with that. I know that people have been getting some really great results with it. It's not rocket science, it's just time consuming. Just have the patience to do it and it really will pay off. You'll feel great after when you're looking at it. Plus you've saved yourself what? £200–300 on a frame. And it's a totally unique frame. Not only have you done the painting, you've actually made the frame and everything. It's really unique. I've never seen it. This isn't something I learned from somewhere else. It was just something I did by accident and created, and I liked it and it worked. There's lots of variations to this. With my other one I showed a wooden frame and a pewter frame, which is like a metallic metal type colour. On this one it's going to be a pewter one, but pewter one with a slight difference. In fact, I might even mix it, pewter and silver. A lovely tone to use. Right, we're nearly there. But as you're doing this anyway, this end part here is drying. So basically, while you're doing this, you're giving it a chance to dry enough. I'm happy with that. When you get to that stage, it's a simple matter of coming along and taking the tape off. I want to show you something about the edges though. Do this first. It can be awkward sometimes, but that's been okay. Yeah, at the edges there, if you get a little blob or something, just use your finger and it'll just rub perfect. Now you see that corner and that corner there? Perfect. Now you do the exact same thing but at the bottom. Just make sure that you put some of this now just on the edge, just with the knife like so. A thin even cut all the way around the edge. Now if you ever have a warped frame that's been warped by heat, you can actually do one of these borders and make it look straight again. It's a really good way of doing it. So I'll just put a bit more in there. And you just work with it. You can actually put it on first and then come back, just level it all out, just in there. Once you run out of the medium, come back and you can just blend that gently in. We're going to come back over this again and we're going to give it a really lovely effect. Right, so this border now has dried completely. So what we do is we go back on to the tape with the tape and we'll put it on exactly where we want it to be. It needs to be exactly at the same spot as you had it before. Just like so. Identical. If it comes away, don't just leave it. Persist and make sure it goes on that line exact. Really important. You don't want to be sloppy with it. So you can push that in there then. Seal the edge all the way down. Make sure that that's sealed completely. Right, so just going to get some of my medium and my palette knife from the knife, and then just very, very gently, using the knife upright, extremely upright, I just graze the surface of that. You actually pick it up off the canvas and just gently allow it to graze so that it breaks. And little holes in it and stuff, just in there. Let it flatten out slightly. See? Just flatten it out. Just like that. In there. Let it break. Anywhere where you get it too much and it's not breaking, just gently come over the surface of it. It's like so. But you don't want it just blocked everywhere. You want to be able to pull into it like so. There, that's cool. I'm happy with that. Right, so again, just gently grazing over the surface. Over the tape a bit as well, here and there. And make it look rough at first, really rough. In there. Let it, what it'll do, because this is dried and it's porous, it'll soak up the moisture out of this, and then when you've come down and you've left a lot of holes, see those little gaps I'm leaving in between, it's like you're doing the snow on the mountains with the Bob Ross style, just the same. Come right down to about, I'll do to about here, and then I'll show you how to gently flatten it out once it's slightly dried. You might get the odd lump in it here and there, but don't worry about it. You want it to have that lovely, lovely rough texture just in there. If it don't break properly, scrape it all off and do it again. So you can't really make no mistakes that you can't rectify with this. There. Too much in there, so I'll scrape that off. And then gently put some back again over the top. These raised points we will use to put a lovely pewter colour just through into that. There. Now I'm running out of medium on my knife now. So basically I'll just wipe it off, completely wipe it off, and then use a clean knife, come over that, and then gently you can flatten that at one angle, follow the same angle all the time, and it gives you like a little patination, a little bit of patination going on just in there, and that should stay much higher than the first coat, quite a bit higher. Right, so I'm just going to start on this side now, and I'm just going to put a little bit on there, leave some holes, have it quite textured, how you want it, nicely textured. And I'll do that right down the edge, all the way down. These little raised areas are mega important though, because that's where we're going to pick up the pewter colour afterwards once we've painted it black. I'll be painting the whole thing black. So just make sure that you leave plenty of gaps in between it and you're not just slapping it on there. There are other good ways to actually hold it like that for beginners when you're not used to using the knife as much. Just hold it like so, and you cannot put too much pressure on there, and you're very relaxed. Same thing is really good for mountains, making the snow break on the mountains. Right, once your two textures have dried completely, that is now dried completely, so basically using, you could use any black acrylic or anything, but for this purpose I think this goes a much longer way. It's a water based paint, it's quick drying, and it's for wrought iron and wood. It's perfect for what we're doing, and what it does is a thinnish paint, so it actually soaks in to the actual medium that we put on there, because it's dry and it's porous. It'll soak into it really nice. So I'm just going to use some of that. I've already masked it off just on the edge there, as you can see, just down there. But you're actually painting now right over a textured surface, so it's not that easy at first. So I try to get quite a bit of paint on there, and I go over the edge where the tape is first to get that nice edge that we want. But you have to have quite a bit of paint in there to do that. Just on that edge first of all. Once I've done this edge, I'll move on and paint the rest. But this paint is a really good paint because it does soak up brilliantly. There we go. Big brush first, just get it in. This is quite a simple stage, this painting part. A lot easier than the applying of the medium that we used before. So yeah, just plenty of paint on that edge, all the way down. Get it right in all the nooks and crannies, because this is textured, and as you can see there, you don't want to cover it really easily, so you've got to, sometimes you can tap to make sure it gets in there. The main thing is having plenty of paint on there, that's the priority. You get plenty on there, you won't have much trouble, you won't struggle. Just in there. And this paint is quite easy as well to put on, to apply with it being thin. If you're using a thickish acrylic, it might be a little bit harder to apply it. It'll still go on there though, you just need a bit more perseverance, that's all. But if you can find some of this stuff, this will last a long time. You get a lot out of this size tin, a lot of canvas frames for that. It's very cost effective. Like I say, to buy a frame like this, you're going to be paying easy £150 to £250 before you've even started the painting. So doing it this way, it's a lot cheaper and it's a lot more unique. Just a matter of pulling the tape off then. You will have parts that leak underneath the tape with this because it's a very thin paint, but that's not really that relevant, because just on the inside of the painting on the border, I'm going to be putting a silver rim all the way around. So that's that. So now I've got all the border painted in black, and it's nice and textured. All I do is I use a silver paint or a pewter colour, whichever you want to use. I'm going to go for silver this time. And you actually pull the paint onto the side of the brush. Not on the top like we normally would, just onto the side. And then to create this effect, I actually just simply brush over it like so, and it picks it up on the high points. It picks that lovely silver colour up on the high points, and it'll give you a lovely effect. And the dark should stand out underneath then. As long as you don't go over that dark and, you know, try going in like this, it will just pick it up on the surface, on the tips of the high points. And that's exactly what I want you to achieve. This lovely effect. Just load the brush like so, and then you can just come in here and just tickle that. I say tickle it because it's so gentle the way that you have to do it. You don't want to actually put a load of pressure on. I'm being quite gentle with this. I'm just letting it graze over the surface. Right, so what I'm doing now is I'm just using a pewter colour. This gorgeous, beautiful pewter colour. It's an acrylic paint which I'm using, but it's a heavy-bodied acrylic. Now with that, I put 2 pieces of masking tape either side, leaving about 1.5 centimetres in the centre. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to paint with this pewter colour in the centre of that tape that I've put there, and then that's going to be our border, our little mount if you like. This paint is expensive, this pewter paint is about £10 for a tube, but a tube does you a lot. A tube goes a long way, so it's worth it, and it's such a beautiful colour. It's in the dollar range. You can get all sorts of beautiful pewter acrylics and stuff like that. You can get these ones as well, which are a lot cheaper, and that's the silver which I actually used for the actual frame itself. There we go. Get plenty of that in there, all the way down. Because it's a thick bodied acrylic, it'll cover up any mistakes that have been made already on there. You know, if it's leaked over at all the black. So don't worry if that black leaks through a tiny bit, because when you get to this stage it will get rid of that. There we go. Spray a bit of water on it. Make it go that little bit further. There. Lots of paint. And we'll just finish this off now by doing this. And I've done this on every corner basically, so that you have this lovely border. I'll give you a really good close-up of what it is like. I'm just going to do this first and then let it dry. You can actually pull the tape off now before it dries, so I'll just pull that one off first. A lovely clean line. Remember, get your masking tape from a car shop, a car spray paint shop, Bargain Motor Spares, anything like that. Here we go, you've got the canvas finished and completed, ready to paint on. Hope you've really enjoyed this demonstration. I've had a blast doing it for you. I'll see you all soon.